We're the Vinyl Verdict, and today we're going to be talking about Iveys Anthology 4. This one is all demos from 1967 to 1969, and it's the fourth installment of the Iveys Anthology series. So we're going to open our sealed CD copy. They've really gone above and beyond. I know the first couple releases were more of like kind of an insert just with the CD. Now we got this nice full fold out, nice little booklet that we're going to read through. And then there's 19 tracks on here for us to discuss. From each member of the band, we got Pete songs, Tommy songs, Mike songs, and Ron songs on here. Heard a lot of Iveys and Badfinger material over the years. But even on this fourth installment, there's tracks on here that like I'd love to hear live and everything that really are standout songs that I'm like, how have these never been released? As much as we say there's this kind of switch that flips on when they become Badfinger, I think you do hear it percolating a little bit, that there's this other sound kind of in their recordings. Whereas at the very beginning, they're writing tight 2-minute pop songs. They start to think about more complex.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So, Take Good Care of My Baby is the first track. I can tell why that was included on Without You, because that is a catchy
I love this song, and if you take the song literally, telling the next person with his girlfriend, you know, take care of her. A more painful thing in life would be hard to picture, and yet it's beautiful lead guitar and real emotion in it. It doesn't sound corny to me. It just, you know, Pete pulled it off, even at the younger Pete.
Fresh is the Tom Evans song. It's cute is a good way to call it. Nice psychedelic guitar on there, and kind of psychedelic mixing, you know, grocery store items with women and Swing in London the same year. So.
Yeah, it's cute.
He didn't write like that in Badfinger though. I mean, that is very much an Iveys track.
Bill Collins' school of just write about anything. They were getting their chops honed, so I mean,
it's still complete.
There was something to that.
Face the Sun is the Mike Gibbons one. I gotta give him some respect for, you know, his songs aren't always the catchiest on here, but you can tell he's kind of more experimental than the rest of them. Just the guitar effects he's using and his melodies, the way he's singing them and everything are kind of the most progressive so far in the band.
It's almost a little hypnotic.
And he's playing everything on there, so he was a little bit of an auteur himself in those early days, whereas a lot of these other tracks are the full Iveys playing on them. Sausage and Egg is a Pete Ham written song, but with Ron Griffith singing it, but so cleaned up, sounds so nice on here. Pretty nice, kind of more comedic number from him, and one of the rare Badfinger Iveys songs that's in 3/4 time.
It's almost one of the definitive Iveys type, you know, when they do the biographies or whatever. I think that's playing in the background, or with Give It a Try and things like that. Those were the quintessential, but yeah,
it'd be a good B-side for Fresh, you know, for a song about breakfast foods.
Right.
Hi-Fi Piddly Po is track 5. Pretty cool song. So this was, you know, Looking for My Baby on the original Iveys Maybe Tomorrow release in the 90s. This is a slightly different version again, and you really have to listen to them, but you can compare it and see that his vocals and stuff are a little less restrained. Pretty funny, honestly, for Pete Ham. Like, given that the first song, Take Good Care of My Baby, like you said, is very compassionate and sympathetic. This is kind of the opposite of, like, this guy's not ever going to settle down.
It's just great. He's looking for his baby in every town.
And he's having fun.
Yeah, so, okay, fair enough. I just love that phrase, Hi-Fi Piddly Po. I mean, we always cracked up with that. Around 1990, I think, they released Maybe Tomorrow, and that's when we first became aware of it. But it's a cute song. It's really great.
And it has kind of that McCartney-esque like storytelling of each person, and then when she mentions Gretna Green or whatever, like it just feels very. It's kind of like Blonde one was a little inaccessible. This one's like crossing over, where you kind of get what he means even if you don't understand every reference. So I like that one a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Then we get Today, the Tom Evans song. Pete Ham plays that solo. Pixie Phone is what they credit him. Yeah, but it sounded like a glockenspiel or something kind of, you know, which is not the conventional solos they would do in Badfinger.
No.
It was also one of the kind of early singles released from the album. It's catchy. We get to How Much Is the Sky, which is a Pete Ham, Ron Griffith's, the only collaboration between the two of them formally on the songwriting credit. There's a Pete Ham demo to this that we received on Keyhole Street where it's written in completeness, both the verses and the chorus. It's a little bit strange when Ron wrote this, and why would Pete record a full home demo of it? It's an interesting idea, and you can tell that they're writing in these very abstract psychedelic ways around this time. Then we get our first exclusive Ron Griffith song, Cool Me Down. These songs sound far less polished when there's not a drum track on it. So these Ron Griffith songs, you can tell he played bass, he's writing these songs on bass, he's recording them basically on bass and singing. Clearly had a vision for the song, but it's kind of amazing to do that with just the bass part, essentially. So
yeah, he took the instrument seriously, and you know, it was writing on it is something that I don't even think I don't know that Paul did that all that much in the Beatles. I mean, they actually write on the bass.
But cool to see his songwriting at this time too. And
Yes,
then
yeah.
Mike Gibbons again, track 10, Ain't That Peculiar. Definitely the kind Mike Gibbons songwriting, you know, it's a good song for him to write about. And I like getting a couple of these Mike songs. I mean, we knew that he wrote a lot, but really we haven't gotten a substantial taste of these until
this is new. But he was always in there as a songwriter more than I would have thought.
And then we got I'll Kiss You Goodnight, which we've heard the Pete Ham demo. This version is floated out there, but it's now been adjusted. Really interesting to see what the band did with this song. They lowered the key like we talked about from A to G. They added some harmony backup parts. Pete added some guitar work to it. The bass part in this, I think, is outstanding. I think Ron added a tremendous bass part that makes this, you know, much more kind of a pop song than the soft ballad that Pete wrote it as. It's kind of going all over the place.
Very touching, and the Iveys took it and did pop it up a little bit from the demos that we had heard of it.
The melody is kind of crazy that he goes up and down that whole octave out of nowhere, kind of. Just look inside the cover, said it was the major surprise. So this one, I have a lot to say about this. He's playing the same lead, and it sounds like it's produced the same way. My theory, it must have been recorded within the same days or weeks as the solo.
It's different.
thing.
What's different about it? There's something.
Well, there's a band. The bass playing is tremendous.
Yeah.
The bass, I love Ron doing his walking it up and down the entire octaves. That's a great effect in this, and obviously that leads me to believe maybe Pete recorded his solo version before this. The fact the guitar sound is the same is what usually. You know, when you re-record something years later, you're not going to get the exact same effect. And he's playing a lot of the same parts. The solos and stuff are improv, I think, a little bit. Some of the fills, and those are slightly different. But it's the same feel. Yeah, and there's some additional harmonies and stuff on here. It's a little bit actually slower than his home demo, which I was saying is the opposite of Makes Me Feel Good. He first recorded fast with the Iveys, and then the Badfinger version, 1970, when we don't really know, he slowed it down and recorded it himself. Here it seems like the opposite. This Iveys version is slowed down, and he sped it up, and he did a solo version later, if that's true. Given that this is an Iveys recording, it sounds like this, that's got to be a 68, 69 recording, his solo version too. I don't think there's years in between them. Stop Before You Go, we got a Tom Evans song.
Cute, it's kind of a relationship song, I think.
Into Sali Bloo, I think this one really caught fans' eyes when it was on this release because we obviously knew Pete Ham wrote a couple songs other people sang. This is one I never knew a demo existed of Pete singing it before Ron came in and sang it. And it's pretty complete. I mean, he even opens it with that wah-wah. His style of singing sounds a lot like Ron, I think, or it's kind of that bluesy.
They're close. I mistook it when I first heard it.
So I'm guessing Ron was emulating Pete's style here, although he does like change some of the parts and the melody a little bit here and there, and even the lyrics in one case. But it's so similar to the final version. You know, it's hard to separate just Pete's knack for recording and musicality, but it doesn't sound like a guide vocal to me. He's giving it his all. He's not just kind of singing the melody as a guide for Ron. Yeah, it sounds pretty final to me.
Well, Pete Ham never did a bad vocal, in my opinion.
Then we got Girl with the Colorful Eyes, Ron Griffiths, and I believe it's written, this was his first composition. So this song goes all the way back to 66, I think, or maybe 67. I mean, the Iveys' harmonies are always great. Even on a song like this, so early, without many other instruments on it, amazing harmonies.
Yes, always.
It goes with that psychedelic theme again. 16, we got Get High, the Tom Evans song. Yeah, he does that cavern Beatles sound.
Really sounds like it.
And I think he's even playing the guitar part on there. Because he's kind of doing that Chuck Berry stuff.
It's a countdown, and I saw her standing there almost, and you have to blink for a minute, but then it's Tommy, and it's this song. But
you can almost hear the echo in the cellar of like the amount of reverb he has on that. But I really think it's him playing that guitar part. It doesn't sound like a Pete Ham lead part.
Well, I think he went as a young man to see the Beatles perform there.
And we know now, after the Star tape came out and everything, he was playing, what was that one? Sit Right Down and Cry.
Oh, yeah.
We get into track 17, Tomorrow Never Comes. Pontifications, slightly psychedelic with kind of morose guitar playing and melodies and stuff. And
Well, not typical love songs, really.
Very different than the Ivy stuff, which is very chipper and kind of,
cute,
pulling you in. And
high Piddly Po and all that.
Cartoon versions like the cover suggests of them. These Mike Gibbons ones are a little darker, right?
Yeah, he was a thinker and reflecting and leading directly to Through It Had to Be and My Heart Goes Out to In the Meantime. I mean, it's all kind of, as you say, percolating in here.
Track 18, I think it's my personal favorite. I love I'll Kiss You Goodnight, but I knew it already. I think just the fact it's new, I Want You. This Pete Ham song, this has the edge and harshness that I'm always saying I wish he brought this onto his albums more. I think our review of Maybe Tomorrow, we were saying it feels like Pete Ham's holding back a little bit on some of his vocals. I think he's trying to sing them in a sweeter way, and I just love the vocal delivery. I think the solo at the end of this is really impressive. It's kind of doing that psychedelic, I've Been Waiting style offbeat guitar solo, but all condensed into like 30-45 seconds. There's a home demo of this, and it did not click with me until I heard this Iveys version of just how much power this song has. And if they had played this live and stuff, this is a really powerful song, and obviously this is saved towards the end, I think, to kind of hit that.
Yeah, the last this is. I mean, this is a change almost from the rest of this the tracks here, and it's pointing towards the future to me, and pointing towards a level to come of creativity and everything they're doing here, but at a level that you couldn't even dream of here, which was much higher. Even though I love the Iveys.
And then we end the final track, very intentionally the final track, They'll Be Around, which is a little heavier and more arranged maybe than some of the other tracks here. And this one's later also. This is, the title's 67 to 69, but most of these demos I think are more 67. This is one from 69, and this was actually also on the disc, I believe, that went to Paul McCartney. He's kind of writing more that sing for this song style sing-along piece, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, there's a line between it. It worked for me, again, closing out this album, these tracks. This is a more ambitious type of song, and with not only a theme, but the harmonies are, pointing the way, and this is just a great closer to me, great closer.
So that's 19 tracks, no easy feat. We had to go through them quickly because our albums didn't have 19 tracks. It's getting 19 new songs in 2024 after you've already had many releases in the past year. We are so grateful for this. These guys finally get the release they deserve. They recorded so much great music. Now it's getting these beautiful physical releases.
Giving them their due for the bright music that they created. It's a great CD.
Can't wait for Anthology 5. I'm sure somebody's working on that.